Welcome in, I'm Artrist, and today let's go over Issho, a leader in OPO4 that I think needs a little help. So there have been a few people in my comment section that have asked for me to go over Issho, hopefully build something that could stand against the meta. However, after play testing it a little bit, I don't think it's quite there. We'll go over it in a little bit, and obviously we'll have some gameplay here shortly, but overall, I think what the leader wants you to do and how it overall lacks that support to kind of do it speaks a little bit on how it's not really being seen in the upper echelons of people playing in meta. Obviously with this leader, Dawn times 1, on your turn all of your opponent's characters get -1 to their cost. That implies that you should be playing somewhat of a control game, obviously by subtracting cost, and then the end of turn you may pay 1 to set one of your characters with a cost of 5 or less to active. So that suggests you should play kind of aggressively with your blockers or smaller characters. So it's a little kind of like all over the place. It's not really there yet. Just those leader abilities combined don't really make as much sense right now, maybe, to me. However, I think we can get to an area where there is a decent synergy going along with the deck. So what I've chosen to do is play this as kind of a mid-range control deck, which I think is the intended use anyway. We don't have a lot of top end, and most of our creature characters, or whatever you want to call them, come from Magic, so creatures, but here characters are going to be like 4 to 5 cost, and often will be blockers so that you can reset them and kind of play a little bit aggro with that if you'd like. So let's go over the deck list and see what we have in store. So we're running 4 of the 5 cost X-Drake, the green Supernova, but also Navy. So what this does is on play, KO up to one of your opponent's rested characters with cost 4 or less. This actually has really good synergy with your leader ability, being able to minus something by 1. So you play this on curve and you can KO something that swung into you the previous turn. I'm running 3 of the vanilla Kobe's. I don't think I've seen this run very often in many other decks, but I think it does have its purpose here, especially if you're playing more of a mid-range control aspect of the deck. Having some bigger bodies, especially stuff that can contest Newgate, I think is important. We're also running 4 of the 4-cost X-Drake from the starter deck. This card is just value town. Basically, 1 Dawn on it, you rest it. This gets 1,000 power, and then all of your Navy and Supernova type leader and characters gain 1,000 power for your turn. So when you swing with this with 1 Dawn underneath it, you're swinging for 7, and then if you have 1 Dawn underneath your leader ability for its effect, you're also swinging for 7, so that feels really good. Good Dawn investment there. Running 2 of the Kuzan that draws a card and then minuses an opponent's a character by -4. I would like to run more of this, however, this is a target. When you throw it down, it's dead on sight, so realistically what it does is just kind of draw you a card. If it does stick, it's very powerful, but oftentimes I notice that this thing doesn't stick very much. We're running 3 of the 3-cost Kobe, which this on play, you may trash 1 card from your hand, KO up to one of your opponent's characters that cost 3 or less. This is your removal, and then also with our removal package, we're running 3 Sakazukis, and then we're running 2 of the Garp, which when you rest it, you can trash 1 card in your hand, and then KO up to a character with cost 4 or less. So we do have a little bit of removal package here with these 8 characters. For 2K counters, we are running 4 Suru and 4 Tashigi. Now, this is probably a problematic amount of 2Ks. I'm testing it out at the moment. I think I want to bump it up to more, though. Probably remove some Kobe's down the line, or maybe some of the impact waves, but I think 8 is okay for here because a lot of your blockers are going to be sitting at, as you can see, 6K power. So we have 4 Sabos, 4 Borsalinos, and then 4 Hinas. So you don't need too many 2Ks if you have those blockers out on the field, because then you can just essentially, if they're swinging for 7, use one of the 2Ks. If they swing for 6, block and toss a 1K there. You have plenty of 1Ks to toss. However, that is something that you might want to change going into your own deck building, but for the purpose of this one, we're running 8. I know it feels weird, trust me, but I think we'll see how it goes for these matches. As I said, we're running a great amount of blockers here that are at 6K, so Hina, Borsalino, and Sabo, all are 6K. Of course, Hina, when it is blocking, it can basically stop one of your opponent's character's attacks at a 6 or less. Borsalino can't be KO'd by effects on your turn, or on the opponent's turn, rather. And then on the opponent's turn, it also gets 1,000 power. And then Sabo, which I think will be a black staple for quite a while to come. is one where all of your characters, when this hits the field for a whole turn cycle, can't be KO'd by effects, and then on top of that, you draw 2, trash 2. So really great blocker all around. Then for our top end, we're running 3 8-drop Issho. I think this is a great closer card, and people don't expect you to drop it very often because they will have like 6 or 7 cards in hand. So because of the effect, when it comes into play, ripping 2 cards from your opponent's hand feels really good. Because you'll also be in a situation many times where you don't have too many cards in hand, and then now your opponent should feel the same that you do. And then we're running 4 brand new, which is your searcher for this. So needless to say, you're going to be wanting to go second because your searcher is a 2 cost. You don't want to delay that by a turn. So playing this on curve and then playing any of your 4 drops, usually the way to go. And then to round it out with events, we're running 2 impact waves. This is mostly going to be used early game if you don't see your brand new, to kind of keep the board as clear as possible, especially if you're going against more of an aggro deck. But it has its purposes. Out of life, it can KO something 4 or less, and then also on top of that, later on in the game, it's nice to have if you have some spare Dawn to play with. So overall, I think the deck kind of struggles with an identity purpose, but I think what we're trying here is at least more of the Navy route, with a mid-range control aspect to it, kind of reducing cost of characters that might be a little bit potent, and then being able to KO them with some of these effects. However, I will say that it is a little bit difficult to go against some cards that are maybe 10 cost or higher, or higher than 10, okay. 9 or 10, rather. Sorry, I don't know why I said higher than 10. But that's going to be a struggle when you go against like maybe some Big Moms or maybe some Kaidos. Those will be a little bit harder to take care of, but usually the 8 or below range should be okay with this deck. So before we hop into some games, if you find anything in the gameplay useful or any of this deck list worthwhile for testing out, please make sure to drop a like and sub. Literally takes a second and it helps the channel out so much. Really appreciate you guys. But now let's get into some gameplay. I'm kind of hoping we go against some meta decks here. We're going to go second against the Luffy. I think Luffy's considered to be meta somewhat, so I think this is fine. This is a little awkward of a hand, but I think we keep it because we do have something on curve. And then we can play a Sabo or X-Drake on the following turn. Although we don't have anything to begin with, I think that is okay. Ideally, what we end up doing is kind of playing a little bit more of an aggressive route. I'll usually take the first hit, though. Even though we are at 3 life. Kind of sucks. Swing in. Just swing in for 5, see what they do. Take it. I don't know if I want to drop the Borsalino here. I might, because Borsalino is ultimately harder for them to KO and harder for them to swing past. I think if I threw the 4-cost X-Drake out at that point in time, it's probably pretty easy for them to just do something with it. Like, play a character that can KO it. Especially if they have like a minusing effect. Like if they had a Suru. Ooh, very interesting. Do we protect this? I think we do. Yeah, I think we just protect it. Kind of odd that they would do that, but so be it. I think we just swing 5s, and then we'll use our leader ability at the end of the turn to be able to restand our blocker. And we'll just throw down the X-Drake to KO their blocker here. So yeah, I think the positives of this deck is it definitely feels great to be able to swing with your blockers. Fine, they can toss a Sakazuki my way. I would imagine they go 7 here. Take it, sure. This is a little rough. I want to play 2. I want to start building a board a little bit. So I would want to play X-Drake and then the Borsalino. And also swing with this one. I don't think I should be as scared to swing with this Borsalino. Even though I can't restand it, I think it's okay. Because if they attack into it, then it just did its job, right? And then we have a second one to kind of back us up. If he swings 5, what does he have? What would they have? I can imagine them having maybe the 8-cost Issho here, although swinging 5 initially is kind of a little bit interesting. So we'll just block it, and then force the Sakazuki to either attack into us, which I think they will. It looks like they are. They're probably going to play like a 8-cost Issho. We'll have 2 things ripped from our hand. We can't counter out, so unfortunate. Garp. Okay. Weird that they did it that way, but sure. Sure. Well, we have a Sakazuki of our own. We could toss. We could do a couple of things actually. Let's see what we got down here. Do I want to drop my Suru and lose a 2k in the process to get rid of what is essentially Sakazuki? I think so, right? This goes down to 5. Let's play this, and then we'll go use card action. Let's get rid of the Kobe, I guess. We're gonna swing at the Garp. We're just gonna make them drop cards out of hand. We want them to be at a worse hand state than us. That's the problem with most black decks, is that they do run out of their hand size pretty fast. But if we can get them down to 2 cards in hand, I think we're okay. And then, of course, we'll have a couple of Borsalinos to help us out as well. What would be really nice is another 2k. That's the unfortunate part of your 2ks being so good and versatile here, is that you would want to play them rather than having them down on the field. So, yeah, that's fine. We didn't expect it to die. We'll end the turn, and then we'll pop this back up. They can't kill our blockers here, so at least we feel a little bit safe, but we do need to close the game out pretty fast. The only thing they can kill is the Suru there. Sure, that's fine. I think we just take it. Yeah, that's fine. All right, what can we do here? I think we can go like 8 here. Can we do 2? 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. We can go here. We'll see if they block with the Borsalino. It's a free block for them. I think that they thought maybe I was baiting. I was not baiting. I'm going to throw this down. Not the card you really want to see, unfortunately. So we will just filter. Nice. Both of our impact waves are back to back. We'll just filter these out because we just can't use them. And then now they have to get through all of these 1, 2, 3 blockers with 3 attackers here. Obviously, one of them will die, but we'll see what they can do. None of our stuff can be KO'd, though, which is nice. Sabo is a great late game card for moments like this. This Kuzan, really good. Unfortunately, though, with black mostly being able to just KO something. Actually, I think that's all of the effects that they have. They don't have anything at bottom decks or bounces. We're going to have to block here. There's... like, we don't have any other choice, really. And we just have to hope that we can push through. I will say this Kobe does seem good if you can get it early game. However, if you get it late game like I just did, it kind of feels bad. I'd rather this be a 2k. But we're testing this one out because I think this is a good card to include for the Whitebeard matchup if you ever do go against Whitebeard. Being able to swing 6 naturally is very important in this deck, which you don't see very often. We just have to use the other Borsalino here. If they swing in with this Borsalino, wow, they are. Okay. Okay, well. What is the best route here? So we could try to attempt to go for game. So right now, I think we test the waters. I think we swing Sakazuki first, see what's in their hand without any Dawn investment. Then, if they take this, I think we go 9. I think we go 9. It doesn't matter where this goes. This is going to require them to have 2, 2, and a 1. Statistically, probably not very high for them because they have 1, 2, 3, 4 2Ks in the trash. So then we just go all out and hope that they counter out of an 11. They have 11 exactly right now. Very close. I wonder if they were able to counter out of that last attack. That was a close one. Well, I think that they might have misplayed a little bit here by having their Borsalino swing in. If they left that up, I think they might have been okay. It would have been harder for me to pressure for game, but we would have played a little bit more defensively if that was the case. But yeah, I think that was the first good showing at least. I think with these decks like Luffy or some of the slower decks, I think that your Issho leader will be okay because it's one of those where, like I said, it's kind of a mid-range control deck. It kind of struggles a little bit against aggro though. Like if you're going against a Zoro because you're at 4 life, it kind of sucks. But yeah, I think overall this was a good showing. All right, against Nami. I don't know how this one's gonna go. Honest to God, I really don't. We're gonna steal second as usual because why not? Hi, this one is an interesting one simply because I don't really like what I see in my hand. I'm gonna mulligan. I think that might have been an okay choice. I was kind of looking for the 8-cost Issho because I know that Nami gets a pretty big hand size at some point, and it'd be nice to be able to rip some of those cards from their hand, but unlucky. We'll pass. Nothing to do here. One of the downsides. Yeah, we'll actually take this. No, yeah, swing, please do. Ah, oh, darn it. Darn you. Okay, so let's just drop the... I'm thinking Kobe, but I also think this X-Drake is okay as well. I think the Kobe's better. Kobe the naturally swings for 7 here, or sorry, for 6. So them swinging in is going to be a little bit difficult at it if they want to try to KO it. Can we get rid of this? I think we can't, right? We could actually go Suru. We could go Tashigi, Kobe, get rid of something. We could also go Suru, Kobe. That's tough. Well, let's just swing 5s, and 5 and 6, I suppose. Do I even like doing that? I don't. I don't think I do. I think I'm just gonna drop the Sabo. Do I like the Impact Wave still? I kind of like the Impact Wave against them. I don't know if this X-Drake is really great, and this brand new is just whatever. So we're gonna pass and then restand our Kobe. I just don't want them to mill off of the Zeph, so I have to be really careful on what they do here. They might bounce something back to hand. Could be a problem. I think we just drop the Suru here. We're kind of asking them to mill in, or to attack into us. I think this is okay. We can KO their Zeph on the next turn. What a weird... Okay. So do we want to grind their hand? I think we want to grind their hand. That's exactly what I want. I want to try to get some of the cards out of their hand, because some of the cards that they have can't be used to kind of protect this character. Like the Gavel, I don't think protects. Fine. We're going to drop the X-Drake, KO it, and then we're going to pass and restand. We could have used our 1 Dawn a little bit more efficiently, but overall, it's okay. Ah, this card's so annoying. Okay, how do we... I guess we could go like just 5. Usually you want to go 5s or 9s against Nami. Interesting that they're just taking them though. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 1, 2, 1. So I think we just swing in 6. I'm just counting out the math out loud. Like doing a Sakazuki plus having an impact wave available, plus also being able to have 1 Dawn to restand one of these, ideally the blocker, plus also have 1 Dawn to swing 7. Yeah. I'm just going to use my Sakazuki, get rid of the Sakazuki because, well, counterless. End the turn. I'm going to use this to restand the Sabo and pass. I have 2 open for an impact wave. They have a lot of cards in hand, though. And Issho, an 8-cost Issho would be great here, actually. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the Mr. 1. I think this card is incredibly annoying, and if they can recycle it to get some of their 1-cost drops, that is a problem. Okay, so what I'd like to do is start off by swinging 5. I'm going to swing 9 here because it's a little harder for them to just do 1 card. So they have to do 2 things here. Fine. What do they bounce back? Turn Buggy to hand. We don't really care if Buggy's back in hand, do we? 3, 4, 5. 3. Swing for 9 again. Take it. I don't think we go for game. We can't pressure quite yet. Let's throw the Borsalino down, and then we will stand our X-Drake. And I think if we can get 1 giant attack in next turn, it might be worth doing. They're at 17 cards left in deck, which isn't a lot for... I mean, which actually is a lot for them to get through. Usually at this point in the game, when they're at 0 life, they'd like to see like maybe 10 or less. But 17 is quite the number to get through. We only saw 1 Kaya get thrown down this entire time, by the way, so kind of strange. How many are in trash? 1? They've only had 1 Kaya come through besides this one? Wow. How lucky did we get? I swear, usually they have an immense amount. I think it's safe to just do this. Do a 2K. Ooh, I'm so tempted. I should just go for game, right? Just go for game, but... I want to play the Issho. I'm greedy. I'm greedy. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I don't care. We'll clear the board a little bit. Hey. I think we could go 7 here again. Get another card out of hand. Do they have a 2K? Whoo! Let's go. They have 1 card left in hand. I think we're sitting okay. We can use our effect here to restand the Sabo. They have 11 cards left in their deck, 2 in hand. Yeah, I think it's really hard for them to come back from there. So yeah, I think ultimately if they saw more Kayas, we would have been a little bit more in trouble, but I think also having our blockers up for some of the stuff that they had was definitely good, because seeing that Zeph and seeing the, what was the other one that came down? Belmir. Those are cards that we need blockers for. And also being able to do a pressure with our blockers is really good. All right, Law is not the worst matchup in the world because we do have ways to be able to take care of some of their units pretty easily. I'm gonna say that this is a keep because we have a 2, a 4, and then we have a couple of options for our 5, 6 Dawn turn, so we'll keep this. Although we are going first, it is a little rough because we won't be able to play our Searcher until turn 2. Yeah, we'll play brand new. We'll swing in for 6. And then the following turn, we can play Sabo or X-Drake. We might want to play this X-Drake, though. It is a pretty good threat overall. Grabbing Otama, we're going to have to remember that. Obviously, part of our whole deal is being able to swing in and then restand. So at least there's that. Let's swing in for 6 first, though, before anything. They should always take this. I don't see why they wouldn't. I think grabbing a blocker is best. Or sorry, no, not a blocker. A 2K? I think that's fine. They're not going to be swinging with anything quite yet, so I think we're going to hold on to the X-Drake. We might throw this one down instead, and then we'll hold off because oftentimes they'll swing in with their 5 drops later on in the game, and the longer we hold on to this X-Drake, I think the better. Yeah, this Nami is going to be pretty annoying, I'm not going to lie, but that's fine. We'll take the 6 here. Not horrible. What do we do? What's the best plan of action? Most of our stuff isn't activated against them until next turn, but we do want to get something on the board, I think, this turn. So let's just go here. Let's swing 6. I'd want to play a Borsalino, but I don't want to play too defensive either. Like, I think having this X-Drake down the next turn is really strong because this X-Drake fights this Zoro pretty well. Let's throw that down. Yeah. It is a little slow. Like I said, against aggro decks, you're going to probably struggle a little bit to begin with. We're lucky in the sense that they haven't really launched an attack that is like a series of attacks, like Law does, you know? This turn, though, might hurt. I have a feeling we're going to go down to, like, 1 health. We'll probably see one of their... Yeah, if they're grabbing beige off of their Bonnies, chances are they have, like... I would imagine, like, 2 Laws, 2 of the 5-cost Laws in their hand. There has to be, like, no less than that. That's fine. Swing the 7. Go for it. If we can stay at 2 life, I will be happy. If they have a restand Law, that is going to be a problem, unfortunately. But let's see what they have first. Getting rid of these 2 is going to be a problem because I'm not sure which one I want to get rid of more or less. I think the Tashigi in this case, because we want to use all of our Dawn the best we can. Counter out of that attack. They're going to bounce likely the Dawn back to hand, play a 5-cost Law, bounce the Bonnie back to hand, play a Rush Zoro. That would be like their ultimate. Yeah. What? They're not even gonna play it? Come on, bro. What are you doing? Okay, so let's do this. Let's go. Seven to 6. They're gonna get a 2K out of hand. Totally fine. Because of this, I get to swing for 6 naturally. Do we want to pressure their hand a little bit more? I think I do. I don't want to pressure their life. I want to pressure their hand. At this point, we want to get cards out of the hand. Okay. We're in a pretty tough position, I'm not gonna lie, though. We're in a spot where, yeah, we have like a hand advantage against them, and we do have a fair amount of counter power as well, but we're at 2 life, and they are on the aggression with at least 3 attacks, if not 4. So yeah, that's gonna be a tough one. We have to start throwing down like our Borsalino and Sabo pretty soon. We're at 9 Dawn. We could drop both next turn if we really wanted to. We could also look to just play a single Sabo and then Impact Wave. We could go like, we're at 9. We could go next turn like a 5-cost Sabo. 1 Dawn under here, swing 7, 7, 6, pressure their hand. Yeah, we're going to end up taking this, unfortunately. It's going to hurt. We can keep it 1, we'll be fine. We do have enough counter power to be able to counter out of enough if we need to, but we'll see. All right, we're going to have to counter out here, regardless. Let's hope they don't swing in with the Law. That would be ideal. Ooh, is this a Luffy? It's a Rush. Okay. So once again, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the Sabo. 1 to restand something. 2 for the Impact Wave. And then 1 for our Issho, for our leader, possibly. Or maybe even for brand new. So let's start off by swinging 7 at the Zoro. We could go in for multiple attacks, by the way. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Counting the math out loud. 1 to restand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 and 2 here. Okay, so we actually can't. We can't swing with this. So we're going to swing 6 across. I don't think that the most laws run pistol at this point, so maybe playing Sabo to play it first to get the effect would be overall nice. But I think we're safe against pistol, and if I die to pistol here, then I deserve it. So yeah. I think in this scenario, Issho's a little slow and Sakazuki's also a little slow. So we're not going to play either of those, even though this is a pretty big hand. I think it's not safe to do so. We're going to end the turn. We're going to restand, and then we'll pass. We do have 2 up for the Impact Wave, and we have nothing but counter in hand, which is very nice to see. They can't potentially Vista us this turn if they're running it, which oftentimes I've seen Law players run Vista. The only other thing we have to keep in mind is, are we able to survive like a Luffy unblockable? Because they're going to be swinging for game, I would imagine, this turn. So there's Zoro having Rush, probably swing 7 minimum. They can actually stack a lot of Dawn on, because at this point their board is pretty full. Their hand is also pretty full. I think the worst thing for us is if, yeah, they do have a second Law, which it looks like they do, unfortunately. Now, if they swing with this Law, I think we're okay. We might be in a good standing. If they swing into this X-Drake and soak up an attack or 2, I think that's also fine. I think we just go ahead and Impact Wave this. Nami? Just to cause them a little bit of disruption. Now they have to spend 1 extra Dawn to play something else. Shambles for 2, and then 4 Dawn left up. So yeah. I'm okay using the Impact Wave there because they decided to attack before using their leader ability. So yeah, ultimately, ooh, that's even better. 2. I was expecting 1. I was expecting a 1 drop to come down. But for cost efficiency, that's the best play for them, I think. Now they might not be as willing to play or swing in with their Law. I don't know. They still can get another Law down on the field this. So 1, 2, 3. They might go 7, 7, I would say. That's probably a good amount. If they shambles into a Luffy, we can defend against it. So let's just take this because we are getting towards the end of the game. So let's hope that they swing in with their law. What I'm really, really wanting them to do is swing in with this law and only have one remaining law standing, like a blocker law. If they have multiple, then we're in trouble. Okay, this is good. We're off to a good start. I think what we have to do here, though, is go block 1, 2. I want to keep these as all options, just in case. I imagine they'll... Oh, they're bouncing their other law back to hand. Okay. I guess first things first, we can swing here. I guess we could swing 7 here. I want to empty their hand as best as possible. The worst thing in the world is that they do have that rush Luffy here. Okay, so they take that. I feel like they're pretty confident. Seven here, they'll likely counter out. That's definitely weird. Am I being baited? I feel like I'm being baited here. Okay. So if we go 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 to restand, and then 2 here. Man, we're hanging on by the edge. They do have quite a few attacks, I would imagine, this next turn, though. So if they have a single rush Luffy, they win, which is not unheard of here. GG. There you go. Yeah, figured as much. Yep. So be it. Okay, I think this is a keepable hand. We have brand new against Garp. Garp might be a little bit of a struggle for us, but we're both at 4 life here. I will say this, though. Going against Garp, I feel a little bit better because, honestly, I'm not too fond of the Issho deck. It just doesn't feel... It's not like a great deck overall. And so far, the wins that I've had have not felt great. The losses I've had have not felt great. So, why am I playing this deck? I'm kidding, I'm kidding. It's not that bad. I think overall, though, it needs a little bit of tweaking. It just is, like, so intensive on being able to use your abilities to, like, KO stuff, and you're dropping cards out of hand is the biggest issue. So that's what I found, at least. Go here. And I think what we'll do is we will just swing 5, see if they take it. If they don't, that's fine. If they take it, we don't really care either way. We're going to drop down a brand new. And I think that Tashigi is actually fine to grab here, and we'll pass. We're going to leave 2 up for the impact wave. So if they swing with their leader first, awesome. Because then we can actually KO their Zoro. But if they are thinking, then yeah, it looks like they're thinking. So we'll just KO the Chopper. Either way, that's fine. We can also play this Luffy, or sorry, this Garp down. Ooh, why do they do that? What are they doing? That saves me an attack. Okay, what? Why would you do that? Always do your attacks first and then play the characters that you need to play. We'll swing in 5. We're actually going to throw our Garp down. Use it to KO the Zoro and then restand him at the end of the turn. Really powerful with this leader ability. Totally fine. We will go down to 2 life. Not an issue. A Suru of our own is also very good too. We don't have enough, or sorry, a Sakazuki of our own is very good here. We don't have enough though to go like Tashigi plus Sakazuki. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, and then we can swing 6. I think we just swing 6 first. Oh, we don't even... we don't even need to. I completely forgot about the leader ability. We can just go here, right? And then toss... I think this X-Drake has proven to be useful in the early game, but maybe in the middle to late game, it's a little bit harder to just throw that down. Especially against a deck that can KO it so easily. They're at 9 Dawn. I have no clue what Garp is running these days. I've seen some Garp go like heavy into the Straw Hats. I've seen some Garp go into the Navy, which it looks like they're playing a little bit of both, actually. Probably Navy for some power reduction, but overall maybe the Straw Hats for just pure strength. What's really spicy is I want to play... 1 second. Let me think here. I think it's okay to get rid of the Hina. I really want to play Garp, but with the Dressrosa package, and then have... Ooh, that's actually pretty good. Just a little too late, though. I think I can do some math here. So we get it down to 8. Oh, this feels so bad, though. This actually feels so bad. Dropping 2 2Ks for this does not feel great. They don't have enough in hand. We're going to toss this Issho. This is such a questionable play on my end, so please forgive me. We're going to go down to... He's at 8. We can get them down to 6... 4. Jeez, that does not feel good. That does not feel good doing that at all. I just dropped 2 2Ks to get that thing off the field. Issho would have been great to have on curve because then you could just answer that a little bit easier. But man, that... I don't recommend that, by the way. Keep the 2Ks in hand, but obviously with a Shanks there, that's a guaranteed hit every turn, which absolutely sucks. Now, does he go for the Sakazuki or does he go for... He's going for the Sakazuki. Yeah, it looks like he's going for that. I think we just keep it alive. Go 7. This will require either both cards to come out of hand. Go 7 again. This is the problem with like these pseudo or these like mixture color black decks. What did he get? Just draw 1 card? Okay. I think we just go all in. There's no way that he can counter out of this. 11? No. Yeah, this is one of the issues with these multicolor black decks is that you just run out of cards quickly, which is the problem with Issho. Issho just has an issue where you're trying to use the effect more often than not. You have to get rid of another card while also playing a card from hand, and then it just leaves you open for them to crack back and have lethal out of nowhere, which I think is the issue with this deck. You're already at 4 life. So hand size is pretty important, especially when you're not drawing as many cards as your opponent. What effect, like why is this nerfed to 4 is the reason. Who knows? Overall though, I think this deck probably is not one you would want to play. You could probably take it to locals and probably just be okay with it. This is all probability though, as you can tell. I've said probable like 3 times now. I am not sure exactly where this stands in the meta overall. We haven't seen it top anywhere. I don't think we'll see it top anywhere. Maybe in the next set it'll get some support. Obviously there are some things like the 8 cost Doflamingo, what is it, Rosinante? Or Don Quixote Rosinante. That's a possibility, but you have to run more of the green 5 costs, which I think you could possibly do. I think with the Navy build, it's fine. You can probably find other things to tweak in here. Like maybe if you want to go more control, you could go 10-drop Kuzan. If you also want to, you could it's possible to explore like the 4-cost Kobe that came in the starter deck that rests and KOs like a 2-cost or less. Great for like aggro decks. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments, because overall I'm not a big fan of the deck. One of the reasons why I didn't play it to begin with is because I don't think it's that strong, but maybe I'm building it a little bit wrong, or maybe you've had better success elsewhere. So let me know in the comments what you think, what could be improved on overall. Where do you think this deck stands? Am I just crazy for not thinking it's like a great deck? I think it's just okay. Just let me know. Either way, I'm super curious to hear what you guys think. So yeah, sound off. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.